time.
It's laughable.
But the second half of the second
It's
leg.
laughable.
The first half was Inter. The extra time was. They were not better.
Oh, they were far better then.
First half Inter were better. The extra time Inter were better. If the only second.
You cannot look at the game in 45 minutes and this one. Over the 2 legs, who created
No, it's not about better chances. It's about who scored more. It's about who scored more.
You see,
who was more effective?
I've always been saying something.
Inter are an efficient team.
You check the
They don't create. They don't create chances.
Yeah.
No Barca created it.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
No, but it was close.
It was close.
At the end of the day,
No, like the engine.
no be true. On Tuesday, if
check
Barca said that they
me.
score goals, that second they could score like 6 goals.
Inter created 2.28. Barca created 2.81. It was close. What are you guys saying?
2.28, any 2.8 can be close.
Oh,
What
What sort of mathematics?
8.1 and 8. Wait,
2.28, 2.81.
It's
SGs.
huge.
SGs.
No, it's not.
No, it's not huge. SGs.
2.28, 2.81.
SGs.
If you go to the league, you can kill somebody.
Yes. You
You can kill somebody.
One goal and extra goal.
It
That's
even
4-4.
ties it. It
That's
even
4-4.
ties it.
That ties it. What are you guys talking about?
2.28.
And we are saying that
They are
even
saying
the
that is
difference
an
is
extra
one
goal,
goal.
but it ties
That
it.
difference is one goal.
That difference is one goal.
No, but that's what
That's
it
what
is.
it's essentially.
No, but how can you say that? 2.28, 2.81.
Yes. It's a difference of one goal minimum. If you're running it off, if you're how many? 2 goals?
Of course.
No, how?
Percentage-wise.
No.
Charlie,
It be one.
Charlie, say we start.
2.28.
Charlie,
Yes.
2.8.
Yes.
It's not even 2.3.
If you run it off, it's one extra goal.
2.7, 2.8. Look at the difference.
If you run it off,
What I talk?
if you run it off, if
It's plenty. What I talking?
no,
Hey,
if you run it off, it's
Atu.
an extra goal.
me I dey do maths, I dey teach.
Yeah, but no, but
You don't be running off.
The difference
If
is like
it actuals.
0.6.
yes.
What I talk? It's huge.
good. There's a big chance.
That's a big chance. What I talking about?
goal. That's what he's
It's
saying.
not an extra. It's more than just an extra
So
goal.
it's what?
We are judging based on
Don't
the
simplify
we are
that.
judging based on the goal. So you can't say that it's 40 to add an
No,
extra.
you don't
No,
understand.
that's what
You
I'm
don't
saying.
understand.
We are no.
So the edge is how close you get to go.
Yeah.
Yes, edge is simply how
So then Barca should have scored one more goal.
Yes, that's still ties
That's
it.
so no. That's what we are saying.
What are you saying?
You
We
cannot
are looking at
analyze
the
it like
XG.
that.
We are not looking at
What
the
is the
goal.
SG? You know the goals they scored are part of the SG. The goals they scored are part of the SG, no? Yes or no?
The XG basically shows who the bigger opportunities.
Yes,
the
and some
clearer
of them
chances.
arrive their goals, no?
And I'm
No.
saying
So when you
based
say
on
someone
the
get
chances
2.2,
created,
someone get
Barca should have scored
2.8.
a goal more than
Boss, so
No, wait, I'm saying that the SGs.
you know they add the difference of the
are
XG to the
inclusive
goal.
of goals. SGs are inclusive of goals.
Yes.
0.7.
So if you play long range where you score,
Yes.
which be like 0.2,
Yes.
where I miss goal line,
Yes.
you the bad.
Yes.
The chances of you scoring that long range very, very, very low.
No. And I get the point. I'm saying that the SGs no are inclusive of the goals that were scored at the line.
Yes.
It be chances and goals at the line.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that. So it comes down to the fact that Barca missed like 0.6 of an opportunity where they could have scored, but it counts as an SG at the line.
Yes.
And I'm saying that all things being equal, the difference between the two teams, which was the 0.6, no, even if you turned it into a goal, even if it's materialized in the expected end,
It gives you more than a goal.
no, the 0.6, if it materialized into the expected end, which is a goal, that chance, if it materialized into the expected
You
end,
know that Barca
which is
2.8,
a goal,
one can be 3.
Listen, no. What
In mathematics, they can say if they say round it up to the nearest whole number, it is 3.
What we
This
are-
super number, or if they say round it up to the nearest whole number, it be 2.
But nobody's talking about
no,
rounding.
that's why
it
you
up.
said that if you run it off, it's a difference of 1.
No,
Nobody said
in
round it
football, 2, 3, as in a gap of 1, it's not 1 goal. It's huge.
No, what was I saying? If you're
Charlie,
running it off,
start
if you're running it off,
Did
no,
you
but
start
what
the
can I
show?
say?
Start the show.
Anyway, let's get started. All right, guys. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mallam Go podcast with me, Philip Sichope Achim, Coach Christopher Nimile, Daniel Krante, and Victor Achu Tamaklo. Fentu is still away with family matters, and he's watching now. He's enjoying it. We thank you all for staying tuned to the podcast. Please keep dropping your comments, but follow us, subscribe, and then push the notification button so that when we drop episodes, you'll be the first to hear it. You'll be the first to jump on it. And when we surprise you with the live shows like we did the last time, you'll also be aware of it and you will join it. But thank you all for coming through with all your comments. Guys, big European nights. 2 very good football matches. First off was Inter Milan versus Barcelona at the Miazza, and in Paris, it was Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal. A lot to digest, a lot to go through. So I've got the guys who are going to be delving straight into it. But let us know what you think of all that we saw in midweek in those Champions League games. Guys, welcome. What's up? Who are those? Who are those?
Who are those one?
Who are those? Who do you say will win the Champions League? Actually? Who do you say
I said
will win?
PSG Inter final.
But who did he say was going to win? He said PSG.
Me, I want PSG to win.
But who did he say when we were doing the predictions? Who did he say was going to win? Inter.
Yeah, but me, I want PSG.
But you do your predictions.
No, there
you
is
say Inter. Right now, you thought PSG.
No, I'm not. I haven't. I just want PSG to win.
But you said Inter was going to win.
You asked the more likely team, and I think the more likely team is Inter. But I have a soft spot for PSG.
Coach, you said Barcelona was going to win.
Yeah, I said Barcelona.
Okay, I'll give you another opportunity to tell me. Now
They are not there. The time you put they do that.
If you ask me,
No, they are not there.
no, make an open show you.
they-
They come.
So what I talk?
Okay, they come and go play.
They are not the guy.
Everybody going to carry you. That's what I mean.
I've always said that I think Barcelona.
You say Arsenal go win the thing safe.
if they
That's what I talk. Oh, Jeremy, I know the
These
guy.
days.
See in this.
PSG and then Aston Villa. I want Aston Villa to win because I'm afraid of PSG. but PSG, then PSG Arsenal goes to the final. Then there's Barcelona going through against Dortmund, yes. And then what about Inter Milan Bayern Munich? Inter Barca, who goes through? Inter will beat Barca. Inter will beat Barca. So we've got an Arsenal. We've got an Arsenal and then Inter Milan final. Arsenal will win. Arteta will use the Champions League.
I get one with
See, you finish the answer like you people, you die.
Guys, let's jump into the game. Let's start with the game from Paris, right? Then we'll talk about the game that happened at the Mieta, the crazy game. It's about. Look, I've not felt so good watching football since the World Cup in Qatar, the World Cup final in Qatar. For me.
We'll get to that.
So-
But you will be fake.
Yeah, we are not fake.
This world.
I don't want to describe our feelings to us.
You will be fake.
But then let me start with you from yesterday's game. That's largely because, from the Arsenal PSG game, that's largely because of how closely you followed this Arsenal team, how closely you've analyzed their problems and their strengths. It wasn't to be in the end, it was a 3-1 aggregate, and PSG are through to the final. How did PSG win the game? How did Arsenal lose the game?
To be frank, sometimes in life you must suffer. The Champions League has shown us that suffering is part of the journey.
Arsenal have been suffering.
No, they've not suffered in the Champions League. They've not been that consistent. When you reach a stage where you are ready to win, you've built and you are ready to win. Champions League has shown us that you suffer before you win it. It's just normal. Look at the suffering Man City went through. Some of the fixtures and the ties they lost, they were not the poorer team. When they went out against Lyon, they completely outplayed Lyon. But it just didn't work. The Tottenham game, that second leg, City should have easily won 6-3, 6-2. It just didn't happen. But eventually, when they won, you see, life will bless you. That Inter final, City were not... It wasn't a game you watch and say City deserved to win.
Yeah.
You were lucky. So you must go through some of these things.
Tough times.
And football doesn't always follow. In fact, last week I gave a caveat too. I said Arsenal will win on all the metrics, and if they don't win, it will be down to the goalkeeper and miss chances. Over the 2 legs, in fact, all the 2 semi-finals, the 4 matches we witnessed, Arsenal created the highest XG than any other team.
Mm-hmm.
The Barca-Inter game produced what? 13 goals over 2 legs. We saw the chunk of chances we saw in between Barca and Inter. But Arsenal created more clearer opportunities than all the other teams.
Yeah, but I've always known Arsenal
Yet,
attack are poor.
they scored only 1 goal.
But I've always known that. We've always known that Arsenal don't have a striker. They struggle to score goals. The variety of their goals
It's
are
not,
not there.
you see,
We've always known these problems. with
no,
Arsenal.
you see, that exists. I'm saying that the fact that narrative exists or that fact exists, that they don't have a striker which has affected them, doesn't mean that was the reason why they didn't score goals for
They
this
didn't
one.
play a
Because if you look at the chances and how well those shots were hit, first one, the Martinelli.
Yeah.
In as much as Martinelli didn't properly align himself, that shot can beat, in fact, like 60-70% of
But
the
it didn't
goalkeepers.
go into the corner enough. It was still down the middle, if you like.
Yeah, but it still beats. It had enough power. It was still went down as a good save because it took
The
reflexes.
third one or Martinelli?
Martinelli, it's still
about the first leg.
Yeah, the first leg.
Yeah.
It still had enough to beat the goalkeeper. Trossard, it had enough. It will beat
That was a world class. save.
world class. save.
That is the.
Then yesterday's game,
Yeah.
from the start, the Declan Rice header,
Yeah.
inches wide. Rice scores that thing 9 times out of 10. It's something he's done over and over and over again. Yesterday, it just didn't work. You looked at was it Merino, the long throw from Partey, the one that followed the Rice
Martinelli.
chance.
It was Martinelli.
It was Martinelli, yes. And then quick reflex from Donnarumma. That thing is beating most goalkeepers, but it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And then the Odegaard shot. It's probably if you want to, how to take a shot to beat Donnarumma, that's how you do it. low and hard
In the crowd.
in the crowd. He saw it late, but still, some way, somehow, he managed to get his left hand onto that one. You look at the Saka, the one that was bending into the top corner. Similar to what Sommer did against Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
Like, that's a sort of chance you shout go and something, the guy's hand appeared out of nowhere and saved it. Saka missing that empty pool. 9 times out of 10, he will score. Yesterday was the one time he didn't score. So it's not, it's not, I don't think it's player dependent. Saka is not somebody, Saka is a sort of player you want in that situation. He did it against Madrid. Even yesterday, he had scored before he missed that chance.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was down to the absence of a striker. I just think that, look, it's these things that happen in football. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. And from a tactical point of view, I think in that second leg yesterday, Arteta gave his team every reason why they should win. It's PSG they were facing. You can't coach the perfect game. By all means, the opposition will get their opportunities. But it comes down to who created the clearer opportunities, who had the better chances, who had the momentum in the larger embers of the game. And I think Arsenal, all things being equal, if it was their day, yesterday was a 3-1, 3-2, 3-1, 4-2 game. Arsenal should have won, but it just didn't happen. Look, credit to Arteta, what he did coaching-wise, but I had an issue with the delayed substitution of Lewis Skelly. Skelly and Calafiori are different types of players. Skelly is more of a midfielder we know who has been converted to a left back. So when he's coming to midfield, he's a bit more comfortable. Calafiori can do that job, but has the added advantage of being a fullback. Yesterday, Martinelli, some ways like Ohunuso, 1-on-1 against Hakimi, me, if you put me there, I'll do the job. Martinelli had space and time. For large sections of the game, when he picks up the ball, he has space and time. They were not doubling up on him the way they were doing Saka on the other side. But he just wasn't able to maneuver. And because Skelly is not the overlapping fullback, it was usually 1-on-1 and eventually Hakimi will get help. So that was nullifying Arsenal's attack down the left-hand side. When he brought Trossard and Calafiori on, we saw Arsenal now focusing the attack down that side. And that's when we began to see the weaknesses of Hakimi. If you notice, even when Trossard came on, Hakimi started limiting his movement and his best going up forward. Because you couldn't take those chances. Trossard clearly was dealing with the situation better. And not even in terms of what Lewis Skelly could offer down the left-hand side and in midfield, blah, blah, blah. The guy was having a terrible game. Arsenal started the game brilliantly. The rest defense, when they were in the opposition half, was good enough in that when the ball broke, whichever Arsenal player picked up the ball was the last man. They still had enough options to pick to recycle and attack. The 2 times that PSG went for it on a counter-attack, that looked dangerous. The first one that ended up in Doué's shot.
I think the first one was Kvaratskhelia.
The bar. That was Lewis Skelly mistake. Yeah. Then the second one, the Desiree Doué one. Another Lewis Skelly.
That one was Saliba trying to.
Then the Bakula one that Rice came from behind. Yeah. That was Lewis Skelly. So 2 of the 3 goal scoring opportunities for PSG in transition were caused by unforced errors. And I say unforced errors because, as I said, there were enough options in and around for the player in possession to pick a pass and recycle the attack. So when you notice that the guy he just wasn't having his day, you take him off, save him, save yourself, because it's crunch time. You see, that's the thing about experience at this level. There's no time to give him another opportunity.
Calafiori was only returning from injury, might not have necessarily been very
45 minutes is enough. If he's not fit, he's not on the bench. He's fit. He can play 45 minutes, especially when the young man is struggling. The boy clearly couldn't even deal with the situation and the occasion. And it's okay. We've seen him do it against Real Madrid. It's not like he's not good. But at this point in time, you are not seeing top. And it's fine. Sit this one out. Somebody comes in. Because as I said, time is going. You don't have time to hope that he will get better. So you should have taken him off. And this whole Odegaard thing, The guy is your captain, I understand. But the thing if it's not working, it's not working.
Does he have an option?
Last week, I explained how you can use 1 year. Not in the same. That's why you have options. So it's not like your option is coming on and comes to do the same
But
thing.
it's not like, to be fair, it's not like Arteta has shown us that his in-game management can throw up some like different tactical challenges too. Arteta has never really shown that when the game is not going on, he has any different formula under his pocket that he can throw on. It's the same thing. Arteta will bring Trossard for Martinelli. He will bring somebody for another midfielder. It's the same thing.
But Trossard for Martinelli is different.
No, I mean, he's bringing Martinelli to come and play out wide. Trossard's skill set is different, but it doesn't necessarily alter the team's behavior. That's what I'm saying. So it's not like Arteta will make a change of player and all of a sudden Arsenal will shift into a different direction. I barely see it. Arsenal are so predictable.
I'm saying that the slight change in style when Trossard comes on for Martinelli is similar to what you can do with Wanyeri and
I'm still not convinced.
It's not giddy.
I'm still not convinced. You see, okay, let me chip in here. I might be wrong, but I think that you see, Odegaard's role is a central midfield role, an attacking central midfield role, right? If Arsenal are caging a team, like they are dominating the opponent for a long spell, and you throw in Nwaneri in place of Odegaard, I can understand because he doesn't necessarily have to be a midfielder. But in a game against a team like PSG, when your midfield positioning, your understanding of the spacing matters. I don't. Nwaneri is a wide forward player.
So you know what? I tend to agree with the K because listen, yesterday in that entire second half, Odegaard was dropping too deep in the position of Thomas Partey to pick up. So as a coach, that is coaching. What Arteta should have done was rather tell the man to stay within the.
But coach, isn't that because even in the second half, you realize that Timber at times got ahead of Saka. I thought he was coaching because he was trying to, at some point, PSG were very comfortable in sitting deep and trying to cut them on the break. Mm-hmm. But he was trying to shake them out, bringing in Saka and see if Mendes will come or somebody will engage. Timber going up higher. And then at times we even saw it. Like you said, Odegaard would drop alongside Partey. And even Kelly at times was further up. I was trying to think into what Arteta was trying to do. So I think it was an instruction from the coach. But he was prolonging the ball from the back. Because one thing, remember, Kiwior is not the best progressor of the ball. And Saliba in the last 1 month or so has been terrible on the ball when they are building up. And so there was a time.
It's not the last 1 month or so. It's been there. It's been more evident in more recent times. And so at some point, because the brother
Raya was avoiding even passing the ball to Saliba. Yeah, there was a time he got the ball, Saliba saying, so he waited for Partey to come.
It's been happening.
And when Partey showed up, he went to give the ball to the.
No, not that one.
That is the one that caused
the one I'm talking
about. Let me just quickly wrap. Let me just quickly wrap. It's from an Arsenal, and I'm looking at this strictly from an Arsenal point of view. From an Arsenal point of view, it's very painful because when you go out at this level, from a coaching point of view, you look and you can tell that even in spite of the mistakes, he should have, he could have, they still created enough opportunities to probably force this game into extra time. It could have gone. Yeah. But it just wasn't to be. And for me, that's what hurts. It's better if you go out there, sit or that yes, your opposite number outcoached you, were outplayed you, lost the game. That's fine. But when you get these big opportunities, but some way, somehow, you're not able to put the ball in the back of the net, it's very painful. But from a PSG point of view, they are good. They are very good. And the credit I'm going to give PSG. Why you laugh? Why this guy fool? Why you laugh?
I mean, I'm not saying the struggle, saying you go praise and
make the man talk.
Enrique, they bore me.
Listen, I don't talk. I don't laugh.
Enrique, they bore me.
Okay, go on.
But it doesn't mean that I can't see. Yeah. But if I see you in force, I will talk say in force.
So the credit goes to?
It goes to Enrique.
Oh, okay.
No, see. It's not the time you put the talk, PSG, that is not they move me. The way they play, they move me.
But then it's fine now.
Because of the maturity. Something has changed about this PSG team. Look, the Liverpool game, where they outplayed Liverpool and didn't win.
Yeah.
The character to go to Anfield Play the game they did. They didn't outplay Liverpool.
No.
But they managed the game well. Took it to penalties, won. They outplayed Aston Villa in the first leg. In the first half of the second leg, they were on top.
Yeah.
Something happened in the second leg. They were under pressure. They understood that they couldn't cope with what was going on.
Yeah.
They didn't have the tools to cope with what was going on. Because the ball, they were playing it in the air. They don't have the men. But they were able to understand it and cut out the threat when they could and weather the storm. And they made the semi-final. The first leg against Arsenal at Emirates last week, the person or the player that makes Arsenal play the football that they play. And we saw it. Arsenal were more recognizable yesterday than in the first leg. They were able to play their game, passing, dominating the possession, creating chances because of the presence of Partey. But they knew they had to take advantage in that first leg. And when they scored that goal, they had the opportunities, but they managed that first leg very well. I was saying that they should have scored 2 because I felt that Arsenal would create enough opportunities to beat them in the second leg. But even in the second leg, remember last week you said, no, it was coach who said Arsenal shouldn't start gang-ho. Yeah. Arsenal started gang-ho. PSG were rattled, but they were able to calm down. And for me, the thing that typified the growth of this team was the Vitinha penalty. When he missed it, he had the opportunity to make it 2-0. He missed. In fact, Arsenal were on top. If you remember, Saka had been brought down, and we all thought the VAR was going to be for the Saka team. Then it switches and it's PSG. Then PSG go on to miss the penalty. Now, in that moment, a team that doesn't have character could easily have crumbled. But the same player who scored the penalty was the same player responsible for taking the steam out of the game for the next 5 minutes and allowing his team to now forget that they had even missed the penalty and reassert their dominance. And for me, that is growth. So credit to Enrique, because if it was any other coach, I'm not sure. He's showing that he's somebody who has been here before,
right?
And that is credit to him. But you will get to the final. But if he continues giving these chances, no there. Lautaro they will spoil him. Make it there. You know, Inter they have strikers.
All right, coach, I'll come to you. Let me go to Achu first. Then I'll come to you. Achu, I mean, we saw it. I don't need to go say the laugh. Okay, over to you.
Why they shake out?
I'll pick it.
You see this diabolic.
Achu, over to you.
See, Enrique, he's a coach. He's a coach's coach. You see, there are wannabes, and then there are the bintus.
Amorimits, and then the Atetus. Amorito, Atetus. They are the wannabes.
But okay,
There are
last week you can't see that when you suck this guy in balls. The guy come out. Lami, you suck in balls, and they can't suck this one into in balls. Luis Enrique.
No, Lami won't be different too.
Last week he spent the whole time they talk wax lyrical about this thing.
Give her 5 minutes.
You got 5 minutes. The guy last week he take the whole time this Lami.
Is that the boy playing
Right now?
We even go to game plan. He say at the age of 70, he play Messi play.
Forget everybody. Let me hear my Google.
They can't do the same thing to Luis Enrique. Meanwhile, Luis Enrique, we know him. Luis Enrique, we know him. The guy is the force.
He's trouble winner.
But that be what you do.
Do some.
If you get Messi, Neymar, Suarez, Iniesta, Rakitic, yes, he's the only one who had them at their peak that time.
What do you say?
I put 2015
Messi never get peak. Messi don't get peak lah.
The season is for 91 goals. You win Champions League.
The time Messi can't promise Champions League, that be in peak.
Messi never in peak. Time flows.
See, there are the bintus and there are the wannabes. Enrique has a 5-acre plot in the land of the bintus. And yesterday he showed it. In fact, this season he's shown it. You see, everything that happened is a product of everything he's been doing since the beginning of the season. Remember our conversation here when he started dropping Fabian Ruiz?
Yeah.
Fresh from... Now, Fabian Ruiz finished the European Championships as possibly the best player in that competition.
He was cheated, but it's fine.
He wasn't the best.
But That's why
That guy said Merino they tap
But
him before
wasn't-
they see inside give him way they make it a play.
because
You know
the coach-
hurt. You know hurt. Merino they tap him. Why they lie?
It be the
You know
coach,
hurt.
Isha.
You know hurt. The whole
Because the coach-
Nations League. The Merino
because
they
the
tap
coach Isha.
him. You know, the same coach who won the same coach who won the Rose.
Because at that time now you know reach. Right now you can't learn.
The
lesson.
no win Nations League.
Right now you
He's
can't
the
learn.
guy.
lesson.
He's the guy. Merino was
At that time now Isha.
He tap Merino.
See,
I can't say head some game be like
You know
that.
hurt.
Forget everybody.
You know hurt.
But
Last season, if you know the sit up, that why
see,
he tap. You know
the personality it
Last season, he bench him.
right? And he's done this before. Remember his issue with Messi in the season they won the treble in January about not reporting to camp after the winter break, blah, blah, blah. He stayed true to himself.
What do you?
And he extended it to Ousmane Dembele. He dropped him in key games because he said, you are not disciplined. If you, it's my way.
He stayed insistent on the fact that Mbappe can't play on his wing. Mbappe will go down.
And you see, I respect coaches like that because guess what? They deliver the results. He's done that. And in the games that have mattered, PSG have shown us that, look, whatever the question marks are, they can answer it as well as the best teams in Europe. If there is any metric where any team outperforms PSG, perhaps it is the sheer number of goals that Barca have scored. But in terms of, and even yesterday, there's a very simple explanation for their slow start to the game. And it was the pressing scheme and the fact that it was not very effective without Dembele. That's my interpretation of it.
It's not
Because in
It's
the
not true.
opening
Arsenal
stages
forced
of the
them
game,
back.
in the
You
opening
see,
stages of the game,
I won't do the show.
whenever
When it's time to give somebody credit, you see, I sat here. I don't like everybody knows.
you
I
were
don't
choking
like
on your words when they asked you about Luis Enrique.
No, how was I?
You were choking on your words. It was very difficult for you.
It is possible to have a certain.
so why do you want to force your narrative on others?
Credit.
Why do you want to force your narrative on others?
How it was.
presence of them.
Why do you want to force your narrative on others?
They forced them back.
Why do you
Also,
force your-
the man self has admitted it.
Why do
The
you
head
want to
coach
force your
himself
narrative on
has
others?
admitted the thing that the
He's
thing,
admitted that.
it wasn't functional.
He's
because
admitted
Arsenal
that.
forced them back.
He's
But
admitted
as
that.
time went on, they were able to recover.
Don't force your words
Now
on
they are coming
Enrique.
to say
It's also possible that Dembele is a better arm ball than the rest of the front three.
I'm not talking about.
The PSG
What
team
you
in that
said.
first 10, 15 minutes. We're not even getting on the ball to
Couldn't
do
even
anything.
get on the
Yeah,
ball.
but if you have a good out ball, you can easily send that ball out because you know his positioning, his movement. Coach, you know this. I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
No, it'll be cool, it'll be
Me,
cool.
I don't agree or disagree with anybody.
No, it'll be cool.
Unless I don't have an opinion.
No, I'm picking him, so feel free. I'm picking him.
Those who want
You see how you see them.
But it's time.
You see the sign.
It's his time.
So just watch how we make cool.
Mr. Chairman.
quiet.
Flow.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm sorry,
thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Anybody that they were party asking. Thank you. See, look, for all that people say about Arsenal and the fact that, and you see how Enrique praised PSG for their character and their development. It is very true. But that is also what Arsenal do not have. Every time when, I think after Liverpool, the reason I was so sure they were going to eliminate Liverpool, and I mentioned that all of the big teams that have done well in the Champions League, before they got to that point, their first time of winning it, they suffered, just like Daniel has said. The one thing all of those teams had, beyond consistently getting to the latter stages of the Champions League, was that they became familiar with winning silverware. You cannot develop
matters, really.
You cannot
It really
develop
matters.
character at the elite level without experience of winning. Forget it. And it doesn't matter who is the coach at what point or how long the coach has been there. At every point in the cycle or in the growth cycle of that club, they need to win. It doesn't matter the trophy.
Yeah.
Because at that level, for the purpose of character development, every trophy is important.
Factors.
For the purpose, that is why I don't understand why Arteta and Arsenal did not take the League Cup or the FA Cup serious, especially in the very early stages. Because as far as I'm concerned, look, and here's the thing. Here's the truth to all Arsenal fans. Arsenal is a big club. But in the context of the Champions League and the big clubs, Arsenal are not parts.
That one today.
You cannot change that just by coming into the Champions League and doing well. Part of the character development is that you need to win. So even if it is League Cup, even if it is consecutive FA Cups, you take it.
Yeah.
Because it does something to a team psyche. Look, that is one thing Chelsea had. Now
They still have it.
Yes, go back to even all of the big battles about the goal, Pedro Mendes and all of that. While Chelsea were going through that period, so they were playing Bayern Munich. I think they beat Bayern 4-1, the Drogba goals and all of that. But back home, they were winning the Premier League. They were winning the FA Cup. They were winning the League Cup. They sustained that. Even after Mourinho, it was the same.
I think that another way to put it, it is hard to see a team just all of a sudden become champions of Europe
When they don't have the
without
habits.
doing it domestically.
No,
So we saw City dominated in England and eventually became champion. We saw Man United go 3 titles in a row to
Yes.
win it. The more recent one they won, and kept on going to the Barca were dominant and then they won it. Real Madrid, they were winning Copa. They were winning things. Right?
You have
Inter
to.
Milan under Mourinho, you had won the league. The only thing that was left, even
In
now,
fact,
Paris
even
Saint-
the Liverpool team that won in 2005,
Yeah.
a couple seasons before, they had won the Carabao Cup. They
yeah.
had won the treble of cups, the FA Cup, Carabao, and UEFA Cup.
And they had,
So-
I think, UEFA Cup as well.
Yeah.
And so for club like Man United, even at their worst, they were winning the FA Cup, they are winning the Europa League, they are winning the Carabao Cup. They're on the verge of getting to another final, maybe winning another silverware. Same for Chelsea, but Arsenal are only putting almost all their eggs in one
and that
basket.
is why
The
for
big
me,
things, yeah.
that's why for me, for someone like Arteta, it's unpardonable. And I kept saying from day one that, look, I get it. The long-term goal is the Premier League. But these things may even help you get
Yeah,
closer.
pick them up, pick those titles up.
You get me? Now, the narrative out there, and here's the thing. Around this time, Arsenal are going to take a very ruthless look at the numbers and everything that they have done. Yes, the progress is undeniable. But in year 4, when the expectation was that now they should be getting closer to a title or titles, they are finishing the Premier League with almost the same points tally as Arsenal.
As who?
Last
Arsenal.
season.
As Chelsea, sorry.
Killer.
As Chelsea. I've looked at the Premier League table. They have the same number of wins as Chelsea. The difference is that Chelsea have lost more games.
Draw.
And Arsenal have drawn other games as well. Right. Last season, when Arsenal were eliminated by Bayern, we all said they didn't have that X factor. They didn't have that character. It looked like they were nervous
But this
when it
is
mattered.
seasonal progress. Last season they were in the quarters against Bayern.
Last season was
This
year
season
4
they are in
into the Arteta project.
Yeah, but you don't start winning from year 1 when you're.
I get you, but I'm saying that. You see, so that is what those.
So in the last 2 seasons, some progress. Being second.
That's why I said the progress is undeniable.
You know,
The progress is slow.
It's not progress.
Sijo, you see,
It's
in the context
stagnated.
in the context of the big clubs,
Me, I thought
you
you
won't
say-
have 4 years.
For any project, if after 3 years you're not winning, forget it.
Thank
You're
you.
restarting.
At the big clubs, you won't have 4 years. How long has Ancelotti been at Real Madrid?
Oh, it's
and
Madrid.
it's most. No, but I'm saying that even there is something to point to. But this isn't that they are not winning the Champions League, and it looks like the league, Igo Pascano. You see what the moves Madrid are making.
Oh, but he's gone. Ancelotti knows. If you're coming to sign for Real Madrid, you know.
So look,
you know why you will be sacked.
so look for me.
Nobody for tell you.
Oh, Boga.
You know the
Like the marking scheme day, you see them before you enter the room. That is my disappointment about this.
So
thing.
let me
And-
ask you then.
And I hope that Arsenal take another look and realign themselves.
Ateta out or Ateta in?
I think he has to move on.
Okay.
I think he has to move on.
Are you done?
My disappointment yesterday,
Mm.
and this is on the lighter note, was the conversation we were having before. See, Ateta is the biggest copycat in the world. He's all of us watched the Arsenal Bournemouth game. While all of us thought we had banter material, Ateta was sitting at home thinking, this is the trick.
Abba.
This is how we are going to win the game.
Abba.
So that Antoine Semenyo long through, after the game, you know what he did? He called Partey. But Partey, is it just something with Ghanaians or West Africans? Because I've seen your brother do it. Antoine Semenyo, and he's a forward. He's not supposed to have... What did Partey tell Ateta?
So you know this guy and I don't want to mention the player's name. Otherwise they'll say he's giving inside feel like we go a long way back.
Yeah.
Even in December when he came around West Africa, they said after the game, coach. Then Ateta was looking at how to beat PSG. So when Bomo beat them, Ket see the Semenyo through. Then he called Thomas. 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 Ghanaians, as a naturally, I said Ghanaian
And
naturally.
Arteta speaks a bit of Chi because of the Otto. Otto was been teaching
Thank
him.
you very much. So he said, Ghana Munsemuchi. And I said, oh yeah, Partey says coach. Your person may be whatever you want me to do, I'll do.
Maybe I think
Maybe I think maybe so he told the boys that forget about the corner kicks. Aim at throws, right? And but when you get the throw, all you have to do, you see, and to be honest, Arsenal took like 10 towels to pack the press.
Yeah.
But the PSG ball boys,
They see some.
they did it. Almost to train because Pato had to resort to using his
Jesse.
So when they went to the halftime, I was even complaining that because it's sweating.
Towel.
It's still like they have loved the towel, but the PSG boys are saying nah. So the conversation was forget the corner kicks and then focus on. So the only time we really saw Partey in the game was throwing. And it was a lot. Like
Yeah, it was.
almost every 3 minutes be one throw. Almost every 3 minutes, one throw. But they will run from midfield and then take the ball.
See, there was a point I was so annoyed because Arsenal had
And the
momentum.
throwing went for only first 10 minutes.
First 10 minutes.
No, do you know why?
In the
Do you know
second
why?
half.
Do you know why? The guy is so tired. I do see the last
Last one.
Shot for game.
Charlie, you don't reach.
See, it was annoying because in the second half, there was a point Arsenal had momentum. Then Trossard won a throw in there.
Yes.
I thought he would just
But they had
move
to
it
jog.
on.
But they had to
I was
jog.
like, what are you doing?
The set piece coach, he's added throwing to his job pass.
The guy be John.
That's it.
But he first was doing corner.
Throwing to they can't coach throwing.
Agreed, he was doing corner. He wasn't doing but goal kick. He doesn't do goal
See,
kick.
this is why I blame the director.
Yeah.
He didn't do goal kick.
He did do all.
Okay.
This is why I blame the TV director. Because throwing to then the camera pans to the set piece coach. Why?
Yeah. So Partey, he was telling the Trossard trade fast. And then Partey said, no, Trossard, hold on. The set piece coach said, oh, yeah, sorry, Thomas. Coach.
Okay, you see,
Charlie, you're usually quiet. Why are you broken your head or something?
No.
Okay.
I think I agree with everything the guys have said, and I want to believe
Including
that.
mine.
Yeah, of course, including yours. And I want to believe that. PSG deserved to be in the final. I think they were properly coached. Because at the end of the day, we didn't know this other part of them.
Yeah. When you say other part, for everybody watching
The fact that
what part of their
they
game?
could respect that they had an advantage from the first leg.
Yeah. And be a little more defensive.
And a little more defensive. Because in the game of football, when you possess the ball, you're actually very vulnerable to.
Coach, so before you proceed, which of the two things or maybe more happened? Was it that PSG decided to, sit, or Arsenal forced them to sit and they agreed to sit?
I think it was a combination of both. Because Luis Enrique wasn't sure. You remember last week I said Arsenal rather should go into the game and make sure they survive the first 15 minutes. Yeah. They came yesterday and it was the direct opposite.
PSG rather had to make sure they survived that.
PSG rather had to make sure they survived the first 15. And the moment they did that, the two Portuguese boy and the Spanish boy in the midfield, in fact, they struggled to get hold of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Every chance they created was Arsenal's giveaway.
Yeah.
Not that they picked the ball, build it, transited. At a point in time, they were also very sluggish, even building from the back.
Yeah.
How many times sloppy?
Look,
very sloppy. They gave the ball away in situations where you could see that there's a clear run.
Yeah. They gave the ball.
Arsenal pick up the ball, run, and then indecision will cost them.
To add to that, I've never seen a PSG team this season go long with goal kicks as they did in that game.
Yeah.
For almost every year. Since once they were struggling to build up, Donnarumma said, I'm not passing anybody, go.
Yes.
Go.
And they would lose it.
They would lose it. And then they were happy to lose it because
They're happy to
they
lose
couldn't
it.
cope with
Because if they were to lose it that high up,
they have
give
time
them
to reorganize.
time to recover.
Yeah.
And then reorganize and then put in a shift in. Look, my only worry is the stubbornness of Mikel Arteta. So I agree with Achu when he says he should be sacked. Look, I can't imagine of a coach not being this clear in his evaluation of his own team for the past 3 seasons. I can't imagine.
Every day is somebody else. There's something else.
I can't imagine. And when you listen to him, he hardly accepts
Responsibility.
But I just hope it's just for the cameras.
No, but at the end of the day, if you cannot admit to the obvious.
Have you guys seen the video circulating?
Which of the
His
videos?
eyes start build the light, the bulb. And we collect with 60,000.
It come before. It come before the game.
It be
check.
And this thing way they inside. All or nothing, it inside. Where boys resurface off.
You understand? So me,
No, but at the talk, see, I saw it before the match.
Yeah, it was before the game.
No, it was before the
Yeah,
game.
the Arsenal fans, they take Vim them myself.
Oh,
Yeah, we
So
take- yeah,
when
we
they
take
lost,
Vim.
them PSG fans brought
Where
it
they
back.
flip up.
So Paris is a city of lights.
you see, like I'm saying, he's been too stubborn.
Mm.
He's been given good money to spend.
over 700 million pounds.
To spend. You see, you don't sack Aubameyang, you don't sack Lacazette, and not go for a proper number 9.
He brought in Jesus. He hasn't worked.
Jesus' record did not warrant that 50 million pounds they paid on him. How would you pay 50 million pounds for a striker who cannot score more than?
A striker who says he's
Who
not a
says he's not
striker.
Also,
You don't see that.
But he had a decent start at
Calm down. Calm
No.
down.
Yeah, go ahead.
30 seconds.
Go ahead.
30 seconds. Did you hear that Tite interview
Yes.
at the 2018 World Cup?
Yes.
Where they selected him as a striker. When he got to the tournament, he told
told them
Tite
that.
he can't play as a striker.
So even the Copa America that they won when Neymar had his injury, he played as a white player.
Yeah.
And that is how come Richarlison got a lot of minutes as
That's it.
the
but
player
he
down the
said,
middle.
I thought in January, after Nketiah has left, and your Brazilian striker has also gotten injured, bringing in someone is a no-brainer.
And even at the time,
But January is always difficult to find.
no,
a top
I'm
point.
coming. That was
Okay.
an option. Even at the time, Saka got hurt
Yeah,
before
4 months. I think 4 months.
4 months. This Kolumwani boy that Juve paid 1.2 million
for loan.
for loan. Ateta is telling me that he couldn't go to PSG and give them 3 million. Don't call me 3 million for this boy to come and play for Arsenal.
That would have been I think
The
it would
man
have
has
been a
been
good
so
fit.
stubborn. And yesterday, he got me so angry when he openly said that over 2 legs, they were the better team. Are you serious?
Is that the arrogance of not admitting that you've been beaten or
That is what it is.
or it's been I don't know.
Or trying to appease his fans. Maybe the Arsenal fans are satisfied with the fact that they were the better team. And you've been booted out of the tournament. You heard the response of Luis Enrique?
Yeah.
So I completely disagree with
Yeah.
him. He's my friend, my brother, good friend. But the most important thing,
We scored a
we
goal.
scored more goals. And that is what matters in football. And I've always said that you are never the better team when you are only dominating the round object. There are times where you relinquish that, but you decide what actually
Depending
happens.
upon the flow of the game.
That's
You
it.
might not be able to play your way, but you have to find a way to survive.
You will determine what will happen.
Yeah.
Although you don't have the ball, but you are the determinant. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the problem with Arsenal over the past 3 years, I could forgive him. But in the first 2
He
years,
was building something.
he was building. But this is year 5. Year 5, trophyless year 5. I can't forgive him. How many left back has he got in that team? How many left back?
Charlie, but the defenders are menu.
There's Tierney.
Yeah, he's got
There's
Zinchenko, he's got
There's
Calafiori,
Calafiori.
he's got
Now he's
Lewis Kelly,
introduced the young
Kiwior can
but
play there, Tomiyasu can play there.
What?
Even Timber can play there.
I can't think madness.
I
I can't think far. Ticho, I'm telling you honestly, if I'm the owner of Arsenal, I summon him to my office. Look at how much money he spent on Calafiori.
Yeah.
I maintain they didn't need that boy.
Yeah.
Ateta refused to see that
Yeah.
they don't have a proper number 9.
I mean, if they've always,
And you know what? Up to now, he has never admitted.
to be fair, in January he sounded like if they got an opportunity they could sign it. You know, they were going
I've just given you
they
an
were going
obvious
Yeah, they
opportunity.
were going for Lee Watkins for 45 million. At the time, Aston Villa thought they would keep John Duran. Then Saudi happened to John Duran. Then Aston Villa said you have to pay 90 million or 100 million for Lee Watkins. And they completely blew out Arsenal out of that deal.
Kolomani was offered to them.
Yeah.
He was indeed offered to Arsenal. Kolomani will walk into this team and strike better than the Spanish boy.
Merino.
Give them that proper number 9 who is comfortable with his back to go. Who can receive the ball, block off defenders, and invite others to come to him and play. They needed somebody like that. Yesterday, watch. Anytime Moreno got on the ball, he was wide. How many times did we not see Saka in that first half? There were 3 crosses across, begging for. Do you know who that reminded me of?
Aubameyang.
No, Chicharito Hernandez.
Yeah, Javier.
Javier, he's tapping that into the net all day, my
With
brother.
cheeky ease.
Jeez. Or Edison Cavani.
Yeah.
His movement alone, one check back inside the net. And Arteta, then he'll be clapping his hands. What sort of coaching is that?
By the club pass they do. The club pass they do.
He's clapping his hands. You can see him bam, but the camera will be on it for the cameras. Your team is losing. Look, yesterday was another clear. I wish DK was here. I disagree when they say it wasn't an issue of a striker. Look, you put a proper striker in that game yesterday.
Even the PSG defenders react differently.
They react differently.
Yeah. If they are defending, there's a presence. You think
Do you think if there's a proper number 9, Declan Rice will always be working himself out to get into the box and then strain himself like that? You remember in the last 5 minutes, he was chasing Kvaratskhelia to the touchline. He was coughing while he was chasing. You saw that? I was like, go to the ball, collect the ball, you are losing the game.
stressed.
He was stressed. Look, it's the system. He's burning some of the boys out. Declan Rice in particular.
Yeah.
If you look at the way PSG were playing yesterday, I agree. Pate didn't have too of a great game because he was isolated and they needed to press. So watch, the moment they take everybody like that,
Then
they are going. They are going. So when PSG win the ball, then Pate is isolated.
Yeah.
And that was a problem. But if you have a proper number 9, all the long balls, look, he paid 50 million for Calafiori. Victor Osimhen at the time was worth 65 million. He stayed worth 65 million. I swear God. That I shall not swear, but on Arteta, I swear God.
But namely, after saying no a year ago, you can now ask now, go back to your director and say that the player that was offered that me I rejected last year.
No, you can't.
You can.
Because the directors will know
On
that
what basis? On what
because
basis?
in January they wanted to sign a striker, which means they need to sign a striker.
And even in January,
Yes, but I'm saying that the counter question is going to be:
look,
when we gave you the money to go and spend,
do you know Saliba actually went to Arteta and questioned why didn't they buy a striker in January?
I mean, it's obvious they
Saliba,
needed
in
a
fact,
reliable goal scorer.
I heard Ian Wright was one of them saying that. You see, he's close. He comes and said, look at when I asked. Look, we didn't understand. Our most potent goal scorer, who was a winger, Saka, is out for 4 months. Havertz is
out for the rest of the season.
the rest of the season. There is an opportunity. We are challenging for the league. We were relying on set pieces. Defenders were the ones scoring the goals for us.
Gabriel also got injured, so
as to how Arteta didn't see the need to buy a number 9 or even go and loan a number 9 was shocking to me. As in January, you could pay 65 million for Havertz. You can't pay 65 for Victor Osimhen. Then you are, they should sack him on that grounds alone. They should sack him. Because if you look at the purchases he have done, you could pay 103.2 million pounds for a midfielder.
But we cannot blame Arteta alone. He had been doing a lot of these deals with Edu.
Look,
who's no more there.
now Edu, you see, all the deals he did with Edu,
Yeah.
Edu acted based on Arteta advice. He bought what the manager ran.
And we know that because of the all or nothing.
Yes.
Do you remember the portion where Edu, they were on the phone?
Yes.
And Edu asked him, are you sure? The Aubameyang thing.
Yes.
He said, are you sure? Then he gave the side interview, he said, he trusts the manager and whatever the manager
He will do.
When Edu went to tell the Kronka boy, no, them my boss, no.
Yeah.
He said Kronka and Kidi.
Yeah.
Kronka and Kidi asked him, say, are you sure? Then they even said that the club lawyer told them that they can't send this guy to the under 23 because legally the guy and lawyers will call. So tell Arteta to reinstate him, but we will get rid of him. You dey carry that part? Yes, Arteta is a boss.
So he's
Also,
the
they
boss.
changed his contract from coach to manager.
To manage.
Yeah, I know he's been a manager now, so he has a massive say.
So he's no longer.
Arteta's Arteta.
So he could have just told the people that give me this.
So for you, in the two legs, do we have the better team qualifying to the final?
Obviously.
Right.
Obviously. Because there were moments in that game where Arsenal became so predictable.
That's been my problem with Arsenal
They
for like a
became,
long time.
look,
Arsenal,
the PSG left fullback. Look, the left fullback.
Nuno Mensch.
He got a yellow card
What's the name?
Very
again?
early.
very early yesterday.
Nuno Mensch.
Oh, Atata was sanga.
I asked Daniel this on commentary on comms duty.
They
last night.
never gave Saka the opportunity to take that guy on.
So how?
Never.
Meanwhile, Martinelli no dey sit up for them.
Maybe switch
But
and get the guy.
Saka to 1v1 on Yadisa, it be on and off.
They will say 1v1 or
Seriously,
But at least
he was
engage
always
that
double-
side.
Draw the foul.
Engage that side.
Engage
that side.
See, let me tell you, Saka is a brilliant.
But Saka too was not smart enough.
I'm telling you,
there were
1v1.
times when he picked up
he
the
doesn't
ball.
have an
He didn't have to
extra
fall.
runner.
What the guy?
Sichu,
Now turning more.
Yes, even that-
So
that is
one,
not
you see,
frustrating.
the guy was not committed because he didn't. So he was drawing back.
Saka doesn't push the guy enough.
Criminal.
Every time in there, they start
Relax. This point, let's focus. Remove Saka. Let's focus on Arteta.
Arteta,
The
son.
entire game
Was
from minute 1, when Saka picks up the ball, Fabian Ruiz comes into double.
Yes.
And because Timber wasn't bumping for it
Forward,
as much,
to give
Saka
the
was
options.
left alone. So the few moments where Saka had him isolated, Saka tried to take him on. In fact, the second half, the one where he make Donnarumma make the save. No?
Yes.
He tried to dribble, cut him
Saka
1-2, took the shot. I'm saying that
Yes.
Arteta should have counted that Fabian Ruiz thing. No, that's why the Odegaard thing I wanted to say when you were saying it. If you drop Odegaard that deep, that's what is allowing Fabian Ruiz to shift to the wide area to
And then protect.
commit Odegaard so that
Let
Fabian
him go
Ruiz
closer to
will
Saka.
go closer to him and Saka can isolate the guy.
Arteta was
So I agree. So what I'm saying for me, Saka is the kind of winger who always needs a good runner around him to be effective. That's a limitation he has. He has to improve.
No,
You see, Saka should
it's
be
not
able.
it's style.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that one you can't say
It's not orthodox.
He has to
Yeah,
improve.
that's the orthodox.
He can
that's
do
not
better.
him.
Every time somebody for that is why when
But
he played with Ben
it's
White, that's why when he played with Ben White, he
he
played some of
forced.
his best football.
But it's
Ben
issue.
White, he always go take somebody away. But you, anytime the way you go face somebody, unless you can't see Kayon,
But I see
you know
the
what
two-
I mean about
The two can
But
go.
he's not
Oh,
Lamine
Starboy.
player. Anyway, I want us to on the Arsenal and talk about the game.
So look, so many things didn't go well yesterday
Yeah.
for Arsenal, and for me, this manager cannot be given another chance. 5 years,
One trophy.
one trophy is enough
Mm.
to at least. If you look at how close they've come,
And to be
they've
honest,
stagnated.
they've
And
not
you know what then
played any other
happened?
final, though. It's not like the 5
No.
years.
No.
That's
They've not
they've
played-
never played any final apart from that.
You know what then happens? Naturally, the team will begin to what?
Oh, me, I've said it after 3 years. If your project
And they will
hasn't
dip.
been,
Look,
to restart.
can they repeat the challenge on the league? I don't think so. Somebody like Saliba is stalling to renew his contract because the contract expires in 2027. So he's entering into his last effective year. They'll be forced to sell him to Real Madrid.
Perez will call Zakila.
No, but
Hold on,
already, how old is Saliba? 24?
Yeah, it's still quite young. 23, 24.
4?
Yeah.
He's going to Real Madrid. And all this because of Arteta. They should
But
sack
in
him.
Saliba now or son, he has to improve.
Oh, no, nonsense.
Anyway, this is all I'm going to say about the game. Under 2 minutes. Everybody was waiting for Partey to come back. Because if Partey comes,
He said.
Arsenal will ball. But football in this world, Ankasa, it's very funny. Because Partey's return, to be honest, gave Arsenal the platform to play in a certain way. And the challenges that confronted Arsenal in the first leg, especially in the first goal, Partey's involvement in the game showed why he was needed in that first game. However, when he got into those positions that no other player in the team would have got into, he flubbed it. So one, he would get there, but the application to deal with the challenge, he messed it up. The first one for me is the 2 goals or Partey flopped. He's my Thomas, but I'll say it. Look, He's experienced enough. He's about one of the most experienced. He's the most experienced head in the Arsenal team. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. When the set piece was coming, and of course there were issues with the set piece. Declan Rice miscontrolled the ball. There was a foul. But when the set piece was coming in, and credit to Fabian Ruiz, he was smart because he was standing behind Partey. As the ball was swung in, he pretended to be running with Partey and withdrew himself. I can't imagine that Partey thought that it was safer because all he was trying to do there was not to pass, but clear the ball. I can't imagine that Partey thought that it was safer for him to head the ball back into his 18-yard box than to head it to a corner. That was Partey's first mistake. And credit to Reece, he's on the edge of the box. Ball comes to him, gets past Martinelli, who brought in a weak challenge, shoots, takes a lovely deflection off Saliba, gives a perfect curvature to the ball. Ryan Akrabon and deflecting and Kebeshano. Why late? So Partey did well to read the ball and get there, but the decision to head the ball back into his own box rather than heading it to corner for safety, some way. Then the second goal, very similar to the Dembele goal.
Yeah.
You see, but on this case, Odegaard had gone to double up for Timber, so Partey didn't have to go, like Rice had to go. But Partey was defending the D. And the DM, that is, like he was there. He arrived there. He anticipated that he got there. But instead of just clearing the ball away, he wanted to be cute. So that is why the world is funny. The very reasons why we thought if Partey came to the Arsenal team, the things that he was going to solve, he got there to solve them. He just didn't apply himself well.
Yeah.
So for me, for the two goals, some way, somehow, our man had a hand in it. And that for me was disappointing because he was the more experienced head. He could have easily cleared that ball. The two balls, he could have easily cleared it better, and he didn't. But in the end, I thought the better team went through. Credit to Enrique. And for all the things that he's gone through in his personal life, to come back into the Champions League final.
Yeah.
And all of that is inspiring. But yeah, Arsenal, you guys have said it plenty. I said, my problem with Arsenal, they are too predictable. It doesn't take long for you to find them
Figure
out.
them out.
No, but in that predictable team, to be frank, coach mentioned it, but let me just hammer small. Enrique try because remember last week, we were under the impression that we know how he will play.
Yeah, Enrique.
Last year, a couple of years back, Enrique, if Arsenal tried to force him, he won't accept it.
He will force
play his game. To play his game.
Yeah.
But as I said, the maturity is coming.
Yeah.
He knows when to accept that. It's not every time he can do that.
Yeah.
And it's
Because we've seen a different side of PSG we didn't know was there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We didn't think that under that pressure. But anytime PSG historically have been under that pressure, they've crumbled.
Yeah.
Like whenever, and in fact, after the Saka goal and that Saka opportunity that he missed, PSG of 2 years ago, they go panic.
How did Saka miss that ball?
Oh, Donnarumma confirms me.
Remember the circumstance under which they relinquished that lead to Real Madrid? About
one Donnarumma.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Then
10 minutes and then.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the game.
But now we know why. We know why it's happening.
What happened?
I didn't say it. It's okay.
That hat-trick Benzema score.
What happened?
We don't know why. We know why it happened.
Why did it happen?
First leg, somebody goes for penalty.
Why did I even say it?
Second leg, somebody score go in the leader.
Charlie.
Oh yeah, on say we a senior man.
Somebody send me a stat.
It's okay.
You know, PSG have been to the Champions League semi-final 4 times in the last 6 years.
Yes, the two times
they were in the
didn't make
final,
it.
they were in the semis, and then the 2 times they didn't make it. What happened?
It's okay. Let's move on. It's okay.
Konya came round 16. Konya.
And then 6 Messi left. Semi-final.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, let's talk about the game. Inter Milan were at home at the Miedza against FC Barcelona. There was a cracking game. Like, it was worth every watch. It was, if you had to pay money to watch the game, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you had to stay late to watch the game, I couldn't get home in time, so I had to stay out to watch the game, and it was worth it, right? Because it delivered a lot of excitement and a lot of edge of the seat moments. Coach, I start with you on that game. You are speaking very highly of Barcelona, and you also respected how difficult Inter could be to beat. But in the end, it could have gone anyway. It could have gone either way. Either of the teams could have won, but in the end, Inter Milan just had enough to go through.
If you're a Barcelona fan, you should be extremely hurt and angry.
Hurt and angry?
Yeah.
Not proud of the young team.
Young team, yeah, you can look at it. But before that, in such a big game, you don't score in the 88th minute and not win it.
How?
Especially when all you needed to do was to take the steam out of the game.
Like, you know how to do better than anybody.
And you know that is your trademark. Pass it around. And Inter at the time they had abandoned their defensive shape. They were all over the place. They were not being coached.
Desperate.
They were desperate. So get your De Jong, get your Pedri, get your people on the ball and invite the foul. Then kill it. I don't know what was going through Hansi Flick's mind. You see, I've always had problem with him. And for me, I don't like those coaches that are not pragmatic in their approach. Look, when Inter took that 2-0 lead into the first half, wherever I was watching the game with my guys, Jack, Bismarck. And
Shout outs to you guys, man. Shout outs.
And I told them that they will see football that they've never seen before in recent times. I could tell that Barcelona will come and score the next 3 goals of the game. And I told them that if Inter can withstand the first 15 minutes of that second half, they win it 4-0. If Barcelona score in the first 15 minutes, they will score and they will score again and they'll win the game. Look at the source of the goal. From an unknown source.
Yeah. In fact, the 2 players who in the first half really struggled, Martin and Garcia, they really struggled.
The one combined.
If I were Flick, they are not coming back for the second half. Yet they came back and the 2 of them combined to produce the first
Nobody
goal.
did a bench.
Nobody did the bench.
Nobody did.
There are 2 of them, we all know.
Hector Fort.
Yeah, clear.
Yeah, the 2 of them know
They
that.
struggle, though.
The 2 we all know that these 2 are not starters.
Yeah,
If the starters were around, they will play. So you scored. And then you scored. And then in between, look at the chances. Indecision. I've always said that, look, if Barca doesn't win any major tournament, it will come down to the fact that they were unable to utilize their chances. And nobody can convince me that it wasn't that. Strictly, it was that. You want to credit Inter Milan for being so efficient.
Where Barcelona wasteful or was down to great goal.
They were wasteful on one occasion.
Yeah.
The Eric Garcia thing.
Yeah, the Eric Garcia thing, the goalkeeper came
But aside
back to
that,
save. Everything else was
rough.
even the Garcia thing safe. It beats like some goalkeepers.
It was straight into Sommer.
What? No.
That's
Sommer
positioning.
moved.
That's
He moved
goalkeeping
1-2.
Yeah, but I'm saying that.
Garcia,
You know what I'm saying? Ticho, you know
it
what
was
I'm
a
saying?
bad finish
It was a bad
because
finish,
a
yes.
striker would score.
Yes,
but
yes.
to be frank,
Garcia's problem.
That is why I'm
Garcia's
saying.
problem. He should have allowed the ball to come onto his right.
His right
foot.
foot,
Then
yes.
he-
See, that's why I'm saying every keeper saves it. If you hit it that way, when every keeper sees that ball, they are moving towards it. They won't stay where they are.
So if you move the ball closer to him, he said,
Exactly. So the movement Sommer made was actually quite predictable. They won't stay when they see the ball
See, not
developing like that.
necessarily.
The reason I say
when
so
the
is-
ball was, it's a footwork.
Yeah, it's the,
he didn't
thank you.
stand and dive.
Thank you.
He
It
made
was the double
a
steps. The double
made
steps
a
he
shift
took. That
before he
narrowed.
dived.
Yes.
And you see,
But
that's
the same, you will shift to your
Onana
left.
would die from where he was standing.
There are plenty
but-
keepers.
but-
Oh, it's true.
but-
True.
but-
Plenty keepers.
But the example,
No, look at that. The
No,
normal
don't get it.
Onana a keeper.
The ball has already passed.
Yeah.
So most goalkeepers will throw themselves in hope that they save it.
Yeah.
But he made a quick movement
Yes.
before.
That is
and
why I
that's
want to
what
give
took
him some
closer.
credit. It's like the normal save on the Odegaard shot.
Yeah.
If you look at the leg that went up first, if he went up with the left leg,
Jubilate.
He doesn't get down on
He
time.
threw this one up before.
Is it
It's those things.
And technically, to such balls are normally not given a height.
Yeah.
You keep it on the
The
tip.
Garcia
Yes,
effort,
yeah.
you score. Yeah, I think
That's what I'm saying. A striker will score.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking.
Round
Were
the
Barca
ball to
wasteful or Sommer pulled off? You see, there's a chance you missed that you should have scored. Like that should have been
Yeah.
a goal,
Look,
right?
And then the
And
one
then
that
there's the one that wow,
they were wasteful.
like Alisson versus PSG in
Yeah.
Paris.
in that Yamin Lamar.
Like Donnarumma against Arsenal yesterday.
in that Lamine Yamal.
Your life, eh?
I was just trying to remember.
I watched
This guy.
in the Lamine Yamal chant. It was 3v2.
Which one?
The one Pedri gave to him that he came and then killed. He should have just returned the ball back to Pedri.
Simple time.
Empty net. Go.
The one the fingertips.
Yeah, the fingertip. Empty net.
you
go.
think any forward in that position doesn't back themselves to?
Coach,
No, but you see, listen, oh, the moment he did this, the goalkeeper knew where he was going.
to be honest,
Yeah, but it was a difficult.
Let me say, someone
Because
knew the
it be
moment.
him.
You see,
Because it be Sommer.
no, but that was the wrong choice. We are looking at how wasteful they were.
How many keepers saved that?
No,
When he
maybe
gets the
so.
direction.
That's the
And look,
point.
we shouldn't even escalate it. The ball wasn't even far angle. Once someone moved, he had the ball within reach, and then he just did this.
Which hand?
But if he had done that,
he saved with this or he saved with
he saved with the right hand.
His right hand.
right hand. Yeah, that way.
So if he had just brought the ball back, simple. We've seen Pedro. He would just tap the ball into, just caress the ball. Into
Caress.
the net. Simple.
Caress it.
No more. Caress the ball into the net. Scores. So for me,
And then Lewandowski had, I thought he should have done it. It's time,
again,
it's
that
time
one.
It's time was bad.
By his standard.
That's Ronaldo. He did it in 5 seconds.
Ronaldo will head the player in the ball or enter the next side.
Ronaldo did it in 5 seconds.
Let's come and then Juventus.
Yeah.
He had
Godin. No, it was Godin.
He had it in the ball or enter the
Put on the next side. When Kwande zero the Mebo Nabaso.
killer.
Look, so, but having said that, I think it came down to experience and inexperience. If Inter had taken the lead with 2 minutes to go, they would have seen the game through.
Yeah, like we saw them do.
Yeah, they would have seen
the
the game
4-3 and then
They would have seen the game through. But Hansi Flick will look at this game and say, he didn't manage that last 5 minutes of the game.
Is it a missed opportunity for Barcelona or they look at
No, I
this
think
team
they'll come
and they
again.
think they'll come again, yeah.
They are so young and so talented. This is virtually every Barcelona player is a Spanish national team star.
Yeah.
I'm talking about their
The
first.
Spanish guys, yeah.
If Bade is fit, he plays. Pedri plays. Gavi plays.
Kubasi now is
Kubasi
making a strong
plays.
claim.
He plays. Who is better than him? He's played. Those people at Real Madrid.
Oh,
they are
Laporte,
Zu-
the
they are Zukui. Kubasi. He plays ahead of all of them.
Kubiasi.
Kubasi.
Yeah.
He plays ahead of all of them.
I mean, even Ferran Torres, who doesn't always start.
That's what I'm saying,
It's a shout in there.
They are indeed that good. So this is a learning curve. But don't forget, most of them are already champions of Europe.
Yeah.
So the Pedri, the Gavi, they'll look at this and say, look, we'll do this again. They are young boys. 21, 22, 23, 7, Kubasi, how much? 18, eh?
Yeah, Lamine,
18, 17, 18.
McBana will be back soon.
Lami Yamal.
And Casado.
Yeah, Casado.
He will play more semi-final.
Gavi will rediscover.
And
Gavi will go for preseason.
and
He will
Rodri
come
is
back.
not. Rafinha is not old.
He's not old. He's 26.
the star boy.
Yeah, Rafinha is not
Yeah,
old.
Charlie Xavier, they for call him and sack him. See,
No,
But the
he's,
coach levels the inside.
no, it's not. It's the Rafinha treatment.
don't forget it.
You remember the Rafinha?
No, but we've moved on from that. So look, but having said that, I want to credit Inzaghi. Look, you see, he knew the game was over after
What
he
a coach.
considered. He knew the game was over after they considered the third. If you watch when the camera fell on him, he did this. He knew it was gone. That equalizing goal is not coaching.
Yeah.
It was the players themselves.
But the substitutions were.
Oh, but then he didn't
before
substitute.
the
Just, he had substituted and they
Before
were
the goal. That
trailing.
was before
He
the
had
goal.
substituted and they had considered the third.
Yeah.
goal. But that, who scored that defender?
Achebi.
Achebi.
It was a corner kick. He went. He didn't
Somebody will get
materialize.
cancer when he beats cancer, you go fit on.
He didn't materialize. They had lost the ball.
He beat Kansas twice. He beat
As a defender, he should be coming back, but he stayed there.
Yeah.
And the way I trusted Inzaghi, and I clapped for him, was the second half of the extra time.
Yeah.
That is where you saw coaching.
Proper game management.
That is where you saw proper game management. He could see the finish line. He didn't need it to be chaotic again. And look at the defensive line cover. Look, I could watch the game and say, wow, a man for him coaching.
Yeah.
A man for Swassa.
I'm a son. And I'm Ghana.
I'm a shot. Why you dey laugh? I'm a for coaching. I'm a for Swassa.
For example.
Ateta. Charlie.
You know who I thought I was going to mention?
Who?
Oh, Otto.
That's what I said for the example.
Now,
He's on a holiday. He's on a holiday.
because of Desmond,
Yeah, he's on a holiday.
he's been given some
grace period.
some credit to the back. But if you behave, no, I'll come back.
Coach, I want to move on to the guys.
So look, it is good. 31st May, yeah?
Yeah, we'll talk about Ferran. Surely we'll get there.
It's going to be a beautiful
So, let me come to you, Achu. I'll take the last word from Danny on this one. So, Achu, Back to you on that one. Inter Milan going through a breathtaking game, brilliant. But how did you
When
see
you
that game?
walk at when I've been very snappy.
Okay, the snappy parts, I get it.
Yeah, it means you know chess, so do I'm quick.
Yeah. Look,
Did I get it right?
All of us today, when I heard this somewhere, so hurry up, make we go.
All right.
yeah. Look, I'll continue from where he ended. Inzaghi is a coach. Like, he's your coach's coach. And
Hey, so Enrique has been coach's coach. Like, it's like everybody coach's coach.
No, he said what? He said what? He said that one. No,
He said
you sometimes be big two.
He said
big two and then
one of these.
So where's Inzaghi?
He says first you said Enrique is your coach's coach. And now Inzaghi is your coach's
The same
coach.
class.
So
The same WhatsApp group.
Inzaghi and Enrique, who's coach?
So we'll see on May 31.
Oh, that's interesting.
We'll see on the 31st of May. See, this is supposed to be Inter's worst period in the season. With two center forwards who are on steroids by that I mean painkillers, not banned substances.
Don't worry. Steroid is steroid.
But in the end, at this level, you can't make excuses.
Yeah.
At this level, you can't make excuses. He's coached, and as you said before this, over the 2 legs, there was only on one occasion that Inter were behind.
Yeah.
And it lasted for 3 minutes.
Quick. It was swift.
Look, that is the true narrative of the game, of the 2 legs. So yes, Barca, for long periods, some would say beat them into submission. But if you know how Inter have played, that is them. In fact, that period between the 2 goals they scored in the first half at the Montjuic and Barca's goals was very unlike them, how they rushed things. But this time around, he's managed the game. And in the second half, particularly in extra time, we saw his substitutions. For me, the true story about Inter beyond the manager was Acerbi. And this is where I get into day to me mode. See, whatever you are going through in this life, it is not the end for you. See, it is because Acerbi lost his father in 2013.
Yeah.
Then he slipped into depression. Then he became an alcoholic. Ultimately, it cost him his place at AC Milan. They moved him on, cancelled his contracts. Then he had testicular cancer. No, he was told that he no longer would have balls.
Yeah, he used to play for Sassuolo.
Without balls.
So he can't quota.
Bro, that's... So
he didn't.
They said his
no more
scrotal
balls.
sacs had become heavy because of testicular cancer. And then when he recovered, he failed the doping test. But he knew he hadn't taken any substance. So he said they should run, beyond taking the doping test again, he said they should run various blood samples and then check even the drugs that they had given him. And he was vindicated, except it was also proven that he had contracted testicular cancer again.
Yeah, he had resurfaced.
And then he beats it.
When Africa can't
First one,
yeah, Mobo.
First
When
one
were coming, they were announcing the new pope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked Achu, so this attitude,
Did
so this thing, as an African, we consider for a pope before. The one gave a very continue.
I didn't say it.
Yeah, bro.
I didn't say it. What? I didn't say
That's
it.
why you come here, you talk something, but you don't finish.
Then
You come, you make some
then
statement,
like
but you don't finish.
those journalists who were covering them, they say, American has delivered
Yeah. The American has delivered
the
American
next pope.
The next
Their first ever pope.
The new pope is an American.
right.
And the name that is picked for his papacy is Pope Leo the 14th. The Leo be somewhere, but Leo the 14th.
Yeah. But there's actually been 3 popes of African origin, except in the periods they were elected, the African countries as we know them today
Yeah, they were.
were not there. But all of them from, I think, the Ethiopian and the North African region. But you are very right when you say that African, the testicular cancer twice. Oh, Boga, you would have. But at the age of 37.
Hey, send me kutai. DK, I've not even kuted 10% of my kutri.
There's still 90%.
I've been kutri officially for close to 14 years. Been covered 10%. Bro, and no mom is Akanzano. And his
and this would have been very early in his life.
Yeah, this would have been very early in his life. Inzaghi, because when Inzaghi came to Internazionale, he single-handedly, personally decided that get me Acerbi.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time there were resistance in the club that...
So they did a loan deal first.
Acerbi.
Yeah.
Because at the time, they've got Skriniar, they've got Stefan De Vrij, they've got... like they had
and he was 33 at the time.
Yeah, and it was like, what do you need Acerbi? He was like, I need Acerbi for something. And he's coming, he epitomizes everything Inter are doing, a fighter, somebody who's gone through life. And from close quarters, he uses him a lot to motivate the players.
Yes.
That if this old man at this age is still playing, it is played well against some very good strikers.
Yeah.
Against Holland in the Champions League final, he was great.
Yeah.
We've seen him play against even Robert Lewandowski at times. Like, he's been... The one top game that I've seen him struggle is the first leg against Ferran Torres. Because he's not a centre forward.
Yeah.
He struggled against him, but he's a perfect example.
Yeah, and he struggled against Kai Havertz.
Yeah, so that's it on Inter. See you. Today we're not getting your time, bro.
I don't go mind
we're not going to buy you. That's it on Inter. On Hansi Flick. This is on him. This is on him. Much the same way I'll blame Arteta for Arsenal cyclist. This is on him. You know what I'm saying on him? We have seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
3 months ago, Atletico Madrid, 92nd minute, and Barca are still attacking with 8 players. Why? Why? Yes, I get it. High risk, high reward. But when you are this close, in stoppage time of the Champions League semi-final, I beg you, we don't do philosophy there. We don't do philosophy. That is not a place to come and show that.
Go back to the basics.
Boga, there was no need.
You know how we call it in Ghana?
No.
One Chaoli. You say, make I hear.
One Chaoli.
You see Olympus, what you don't want Oli to do to you, Oli is leading Hearts of Oak. 90th minute. No, even they start doing that with about 10 minutes to go. All the people will come back. When the ball comes, then play to touch. Boom! And they want to only, this is the only philosophy. Bim, bam, bim, bam.
Bim Nation.
You finish the game, you go your way.
Look, we didn't see any attempt at all to manage the game.
At all.
Instead, he had made poor substitutions that came back to bite him. So I went back to listen to the post-match interview and the post-match conference, the transcript of it. Unless the 3 journalists that I read from all left that part out, he did not explain Inigo Martinez's substitution as an injury.
I hear he had a knock. I already it got and he had a discomfort. I think the word I saw was a discomfort.
And it came from who?
I mean, the only thing he was on a yellow card. So
you see, those are the...
It was a yellow card.
So I suspected it was a yellow card.
Yeah.
But the manager himself, because I was like, Araujo against Dortmund.
So he might even be in doubt. I think he's even a doubt for the Classico.
The Classico.
Yeah.
Araujo against Dortmund. Yeah. Adam Montjuic last week, he cost one of the goals that Inter scored when he came on. So to throw him on, it didn't make sense to me. Also, Lewandowski.
The part where I realized that Araujo wasn't a big part of his plan was that he started Eric Garcia, because Araujo has shown he can play
at right back.
Now, if Eric Garcia is going to play
I think the problem is that because of the ACL, he's not had a proper
mobility
season. You don't want to put him where he'll be required to go.
So it's a matter of sharpness.
Yes, the member of sharpness. I think he's the captain of the team. He's virtually part of his plan. But he needs a proper preseason.
Proper defender, bro.
No, but you see, there's still time.
There's still time.
He's young.
And the good thing for him is that Barca don't have the money to go out and start.
They need proper preseason.
The good thing for them is that Barca don't have the money to go out and start splashing and say that we are moving on from you. If there are any areas Barca perhaps will spend money, maybe it's in attack.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that will be this summer.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, look, this is purely on Hansi Flick. Yes, there were mistakes. Yes. perhaps they could have finished one of those chances. But in stoppage time,
It's the coaching.
the instruction should be that everybody get back.
Get back.
Because if Barca had enough numbers in the box, maybe that cross doesn't get as far as
It don't even get to be a 1v1.
right. It doesn't get for us to then question why Araujo is not able to get in front of Acerbi. If they have enough numbers in the box, maybe something else happens, right? And if you look at even the turnover from the point where Inter started building, and you look all across the pitch, I was like, what is this? What else are you trying to chase? And for me, it was so heartbreaking because he's practically coached a perfect game for Barca up until this point.
Just leave Yami Yama alone.
Up until this point.
If you leave Yami Yama alone there, when they get the ball, he can skip like 2-3 Inter players or two of them who dribble them all.
So hopefully, and I don't belong to the school of thoughts that they will come back again. So it's okay.
Yeah, it's never guaranteed.
It may take another
gone.
2
Because the owners of the competition that will be back.
No,
For them, they will be back.
No, you see, it's gone.
There's only one team. That is guaranteed that
he's badly coached the team in that last 5 minutes. What can he do about it? But he can only take solace in the fact that it is a young team, a very talented
no, it is. But
that can get better.
I'm saying that
I'm not
they
sure
had
it's
it. Like they had it.
It's gone. You see, they had it and it's gone. But he can only take solace that if you look at the team, he doesn't need to.
Oh, but this weekend, they will make up for it.
Oh, they will finish this.
They will more than make up for it.
That's their defense.
They will more than make up for it.
Danny, we're having a mini comment. Danny, I mean, your thoughts on the game?
The best Champions League tie in history ever. Full stop. The best.
Does it beat the Liverpool AC Milan?
Yes,
Don't forget.
Does it?
That was one game.
Tie. That was one game. I'm saying the best tie.
Oh, right.
Maybe you want to compare it to
saw-
PSG didn't show up.
Which one?
The Barcelona PSG.
That was comeback. That one, somebody signed the first leg, somebody signed the second leg. This one, we had toe to toe. First leg, toe to toe. Second leg. Tell you proper.
This is Diego Corrales.
They gave me stupid.
Be fucking you. You know what the game? I watched the game actually.
See,
my brother said that game.
You don't say I lose my voice on comment. I know they fit.
I call our brother Nathan Kwao after the game and I say, look, this is my United 2008, 2000.
Yeah.
This was on a level.
Yeah, that level of football.
This one a level. Finish the Ferdinand, the Ronaldo, Rooney, Carlos Tevez, Carrick, High Greaves, Rooney Dems. This one a level. Now we are 2 decades off with Maguire and these players.
Maguire the ball, please. See, the match B, stupid. And for that, you see, this is why, not just in terms of what we witnessed, but the coaching. Both managers coached within their philosophy and were able to get, like, Inter a very reactive team. They can pragmatic. They can look at what you are doing, assess it, and then quickly find a counter. What Barcelona do is what Barcelona do. And we saw toe to toe. Inter got goals the way we knew they would get the goals. Barcelona also got the goals the way we knew they would get the goals. And it's just bottom line.
Saw the anger with which Omo headed the ball into the back.
But look, bottom line, there's no, like, when you are good, you are good. There's no antidote.
One person had to win. One team had to win.
Exactly. But when you have games like this and you have coaches going head to head, and it's very difficult, plainly, Inter couldn't stop what Barcelona and how Barcelona played their football. Yeah. They had to contain it. Barca also couldn't stop Inter. They had to contain it. And it came down to the moments. But you see, this is why I blame an individual and not the coach in that last few minutes. When Rafinha scored the goal, Barcelona can't sit back. Height advantage, Inter have it. Physicality, Inter have it. If Barca push back and they invite the long balls, they are dead. Lanka, it will not be 4-3, it will be 5-3 before, 4-3 before the 90th minute. Like will score and will score again safe if Barca had sat back. So what Barca know how to do and how they defend is to keep possession of the ball. Yeah, but that is defending.
They didn't keep possession. In keeping possession, you don't need to go and score.
Look, let me
the ball around.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm blaming an individual, not the coaching.
That's what they didn't do.
When that counter-attack came, you see, Inter were pushing to score. The counter-attack that led to Achebi staying there.
Yeah.
The Inter had an attack and Barcelona won the ball. When the ball was given to Pedri, it was 2-on-2.
Yeah.
Everybody expected Pedri to give a quick pass to Lamine Yamal. What did Pedri do? He turned and he was in the final third. He turned, allowed Inter to recover, took the ball to the side, gave it to Lamine, and made himself available to receive the pass because that is defending within the principles. Give it back to me. Let's send it to the side. Let's send it back. Let's do this. Let's do this. Lamine! You people have said, oh, you're mess, we a mess, we a guy, we a mess.
I want inexperience.
So the team enter in head inside.
He the go score.
Where he the go score. And you see, the annoying thing about this, the Moreno will tell you. Unless you are going to put the ball in the back of the net, don't take that risk.
Club Guardiola will tell you that if the ball goes score,
Make it no shoot.
Pass
the ball. For a football fan, it's annoying. But for the coach, he knows the benefit of that. Because if the keeper saves it, you have given possession back to the opposition. If he goes out, you have given possession back. If he hits bar where he go through, whatever, you have given possession back to the opposition. And at that time, you don't want Inter to have the ball because Inter were going with one. And Barca couldn't defend against that thing. Now when the ball went to the throw, Inter took a quick throw.
No, the throw was for Barca.
For Barca.
They took a quick throw, they lost it.
They lost it.
They lost it to a goal kick.
Which was another silly thing because they won't go score again.
That's the problem.
And that was the issue. But you see, my point is, Frankie de Jong, Pedri, their body language and disposition didn't give players who were interested in going to score. Do you get what I'm saying?
They saw
the need to keep it. And they are the leaders on the pitch.
Yes.
So I know that was communicated to the players on the pitch. It was stubbornness.
And for me, the one thing that I say about the Barca players is as young as they are,
and the young boys,
they're very young, experienced.
Yeah.
You see, the Barca players, let me almost play 100 games. He's not inexperienced. He's won the Euros experience. Pedri is experienced. Gavi, Frankie de Jong is experienced.
You see,
let me come there.
They are experienced,
but
their adrenaline level.
Thank you.
Stay that off.
And let me quote it for you.
Yeah.
So foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. The rod of correction will drive it far, far away.
Yes.
You see, he didn't say an adult too.
Yes.
There's something about a child.
Yes.
They get excited. Adrenaline levels.
Yes.
That one, Boga, if he plays 200 games at 17, when he sees 1v1, he will want to attack.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, that's my issue. There's still a child in him. Pedri, no. That's why Pedri will be senior. But Pedri, Frankie de Jong,
they be senior.
Your friend is
Frankie de Jong. They play ball.
Kubasi.
Fucking.
Look,
they play ball.
When that ball
the first leg, I believe him. They play ball fucking. My put on the
no, but the second leg, it starts slow. But he
but the first leg, first leg, 90 minutes.
He
play ball fucking.
They about with the 10 like that.
Game Crudo.
But he play the play ball. But see, that thing, no, I don't blame Hansi Flick.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, they defend within the limits of their
abilities, their principles.
And that means that keeping possession of the ball. So that shape we saw, that quick long ball to launch the attack, it was always going to catch them out of position because just a split second earlier, they had possession of the ball. So they are in certain zones where they can just pass the ball around and take it out. Because from 88 minutes to 90 plus 3, the game was boring. Barcelona were just playing the thing.
Yeah, but my disappointment is when Barcelona had the throw after Lamine Yamal had hit the woodwork and they had cleared the ball.
Yesterday we saw PSG when they had the throw. They took like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it
wasn't Barca's through.
What was Barca's through? When the ball struck the woodwork, it was Bastoni who redirected it out to throw in, right? But Barca had committed about 5 of their players into the half of. If you leave 2 there and throw in.
You see, they step high. It's not, you see, the bodies committed forward were not necessarily bodies to go and attack. That's what I'm saying.
But
they are there because they step high.
Yes.
My issue is that when that ball went for through, pass it around within Inter's half, like what you've been doing. They have been doing that 3 minutes for a good 3 minutes before that goal.
Mm-hmm.
The decision to take advantage of that 1v1 or say 2v2, no, that was the issue. Because as for the sitting back, they can't do it. What?
Right.
They don't go fit. Once a long ball comes in, they don't go fit. Fratezi's goal. They had to defend their box. Look at them. They can't do it. They don't know how to do
Can I
that.
ask you a question, Daniel? Was it possible to have dropped the line by 3 meters, 5 possibly?
If you drop the line, it means that you are not applying proper pressure on the people.
To some extent, I agree with Danny. Is it to some extent? Is it even in the goal? In the goal that made it 3-3. I think the left back he was weak in the tackle. You want
It was a foul. It was a foul.
It wasn't a foul.
It was a foul.
I don't think
The replay
it
showed
It was a foul. Oh, it was a foul.
It
was too soft.
He actually kicked. He's actually kicking.
He kicked into them.
No. Look,
Dumfries choke him.
No, he stepped across.
No,
but he didn't make
choke him.
It wasn't a foul. It wasn't a foul.
I mean, you choke him, but I still maintain that it was too soft.
No, it wasn't a foul.
It'll be foul.
But this boy, if like the Inter, where they be the home team, that boy will be the
That they will
if
give
it's
him
fail,
foul.
that they go give him
They'll
foul.
give him foul.
But
If it's fail, like, if we Inter where they lead, they go give
for
him
me,
foul.
for me, the game went exactly how I thought it would go. I thought it was going to be very close.
that many goals.
But I didn't exactly.
Yes.
I
knew that once Inter had scored,
I knew it was going to be
7 goals in 2 games.
Of course, I didn't think it was going to be 4-3 or anything. But I knew whatever the scoreline would be, it wasn't going to be separated by 2 or more goals. I think I said it that the game was closer than we made it look. The game was so close.
No, but it was
And
that
you knew-
because of somehow.
No. Whatever the reason is.
Inter,
What
supreme efficiency.
look,
Every shot they got,
they scored.
they scored.
no,
Did you know that they had 9 shots on targets?
yeah.
And
I'm
7
saying
of them.
the chances when
Yeah.
Inter created a chance they
Over 2
scored.
legs.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah, but I'm saying across the 2 legs.
Jan Sommer,
9 shots on targets.
Yeah,
Inter
but
had and 7 goals.
That's supreme
the biggest
efficiency.
save, the biggest save Jan Sommer made was from the Lamine Yamal thing. And then the Eric Garcia
Yeah.
one. He didn't pull out any other.
And there were 2 Lamine Yamal also.
Which one? The toe poke. That one came straight to
That
me.
one came
No.
Which one?
The first bender, that one was with power.
And
Oh,
then
that
the
one
second
was safe. That one was safe. But it was a good save, but you expect him to make it. If you want to score, you expect
The
him
one
to
that
make it.
beat him was the one that hit the post.
The one that beat him, yes. The first one that Lamine Yamal, it was almost slowing down and he quickly took the shot. It was a good one, but I'm expecting him to make it. The Yansuma save, the Lamine Yamal one was brilliant. Yes, the Eric Garcia one was brilliant. But apart from those 2 saves, really, the other ones were
No,
the
but
top
you, see,
poke.
you can't say apart from that because that is a big moment.
I agree.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, for me,
In a game that close,
Yes.
that is the defining factor.
no, I agree. But for me, I've maintained that for any team to go and win the Champions League, I expect your goalkeepers to save goal
set
bound.
balls, set
So when
balls.
goalkeepers make those saves, I expect that it is part of the contest. Like it's inevitable. Thibaut Courtois has done
Oh, yeah,
this.
Nejuma.
And listen, when
Edison,
and listen, then you need to.
Those Van der Sar,
You need
Check.
to.
Casillas,
You if you don't have a goalkeeper pulling off
that's
these
the
saves,
level.
Peter Cech.
So me,
Chelsea, Bayern Munich.
I go into the game knowing that this moment will happen, and this moment happened. But for me, the game went just as I thought it would be. It was going to be close because, and when the first half started, I just knew Inter would win the game until the second half, and I saw that Ayeka, because all I needed the Inter midfielders to do was to be confident on the ball. The Inter midfielders started evading press of Barca. The Inter midfielders. Why are you guys doing that? Why? It's sorting up.
Nothing.
Okay.
I don't know why he called me safe. Yeah, Africa says somebody scored.
The Inter midfielders.
Boy.
But then, be careful.
No.
So
Not behaving. Boy.
So for me, I thought the Inter midfielders in that first half,
Oh boy.
Mkhitaryan, Barella, Karanoglu were very confident on the ball. So the first half, Barca were not themselves. It was Inter doing their thing. And for me, look, that was also the slight arrogance of Hansi Flick. I understand that you can't play any other way.
That's
all he knows.
That high line in your home ground, it gave you problems. What made him think that it wouldn't give him problems away from him against this Inter side?
No, he knew to give him problems. But
They want to miss it.
he will score some.
Now that Inter Milan's midfielder got control of the ball and were a bit more confident to the ball, that's a struggle in that first half. Then they got the 2 goals. Typical Inter. After 2 goals, no need. No need.
Setback.
But that also plays into the hands of Barca because, and that comes to the second half. When you allow Barca to see a lot of the ball, their individual quality and ability be top. But you see,
Frankie Dion, they see the way
Inter were doing well to neutralize the key people in Barca. So Lamine Yamal, even at the start of the second half, they neutralized the space.
Yeah.
Pedri on the ball, he could only go side.
They didn't neutralize him. Oh.
No.
No, but
That's
making those forward passes like the first league.
He wasn't going through, he was going side. And Inter were comfortable. What Inter didn't plan for was the Gerard Martin. And then Eric who tracks Eric Garcia?
Yeah.
Who stops
That's
Gerard
where the
Martin
problem
from
came
crossing?
from. Yeah.
That was the problem. Like seriously.
All of a sudden the crosses were becoming sweet.
Rafinha was out. Ferran Torres was out. Lamine Yamal was okay.
Omo had a horrible game.
Omo was, but that was when he
He was
dropped.
out.
But
He was
even
out.
no
He don't sit up.
Even dash the ball, they go to the first goal.
Pedri was, as always, Pedri and Dion will see the ball. But what were they doing with the ball? And then Barca put the surprise from the Gerard Martin to Eric Garcia. 2-1.
In fact, on any other day, a coach takes them off at halftime.
They were bad.
But even Garcia, that technique to score that goal.
So composed and calm. Yeah, so composed and calm under no pressure. So Inter were not expecting it. Then the second cross comes. Pinpoint. Almost can't miss it. Even if he does this, the ball hits him in score. Like pinpoint. So
That's a bullet of a head.
Inter were not expecting it, right? But this is where Inzaghi, even though he won, got it wrong. He should have made the substitutions of the midfielders earlier. Because we've seen this Inter team getting tired, getting to the end of this season. And the intensity with which the midfield played within the first half, there was no way they were going to be effective after 60 minutes. So I was thinking the Zielinski and then the Frattesi change would happen. If it had happened earlier, I don't think Barca would
They perhaps close out the game.
But they allowed Barca to gain too much prominence and even wear down the Inter team more because the midfield, their legs were gone. So Inzaghi made a mistake. If Inter allowed the game 3-2, it would have been on Inzaghi. The substitution delayed way too much. But then he made them. And as you guys have said, the game management from Barca wasn't great. But you see, and I agree with coach when he said that they should have stepped back a little bit. Look, you Barca, no, what you know how to do is to keep the ball. That and throughout the game, credit to this guy, Jan Sommer. His long balls were not just long balls. They were passes to Dumfries, and Dumfries will beat Martin
all the time.
So the ball goes.
How old is he?
So it's also very young.
He's young.
He's also very young.
Son of Wasa.
So the goal that made it 3-3, the ball goes to Thuram, who wins the ball. Dumfries picks it up. Thuram picks it up. And then he squares. No, Thuram headed it. Thuram picks it up. He gives it to Dumfries. And Achebi scores. So I think Barca should have managed that situation well. That one, I agree with all of you. But in the extra time, the reason why I think Inter deserved to go
they were the
was,
better team in the extra time.
Look, the first half was Inter. The second half was Barca. The entire extra time was Inter. Like, the entire extra time.
Both halves.
Both first and second half. So, in the tie,
that was when they were supposed to be tied.
Yes. But they went on to score the goal. And after scoring the goal,
they had the legs.
They had the legs
energy,
to manage the game properly. And in the end, I think that the San Siro, we can't discount the fans. We can't discount the fans. It was, I heard a story. At 3-2, you know, some of the fans thought they left.
Yeah.
As soon as they left, they heard the goal 3-3. They are rushing back to come and see the extra time. The gates are shut. Because there are some people who are the outside who don't have tickets. We can't open the gates for you. So when you exit the San Siro, you can't come back onto the game and the gates are open. So they have to rush to the pubs and watch. And I'm like, if I'm the one who had paid money to watch the game, I bet you should be fucking. So they missed, they missed the 3-3 and the fourth goal. And they missed the whole party afterwards.
Did you see the tifos that they rolled out for the game?
Yeah.
They don't miss.
Yeah.
Like Italy.
And the best part, to wrap it up, the best part for me was the Frattesi goal celebration. When he jumped into the cover nod and he was standing there and then Lautaro joined him and Papa, who was injured, rushed and joined him and then
you know, he passed out briefly.
Yeah, he passed out briefly. He said he was celebrating so hard.
He celebrated so hard.
He
passed out.
The game. And for him, before he got to the pitch, he was tired. Because they were playing the game, they were screaming at every foul. They were jubilating every goal. So before he got into the game, Frattesi says he was even exhausted. But that was the player. I like him because that's the player who in January was said to be leaving because he had not played enough games. Roma said he should come. Inzaghi promised him that he was going to be a big part of the team. And then here they are in the final. So yeah, we're looking forward to that final. 31st May, between PSG and Inter Milan. We'll delve into those games around that time. I normally don't like us to talk about finals way ahead before. Things can happen. the Inter can dip in form, PSG can dip in form, injuries here and there, so while we get close, knowing all the facts around the game, the week to the final will do justice to that. So that is our lowdown on the Champions League semis. Breathtaking games. Let us know what you thought on all of those games, bro.
You be John.
What I do?
You just debone me.
Oh, so yeah, let us know what you think about those two finals. Arsenal couldn't make it to the finals. Credit to PSG, but Inter Milan and FC Barcelona. To be fair, it could have been either team, and nobody would have had any complaints. That could have been the final. That really could have been the final. And hopefully PSG and Inter do serves us something delicious as well.
Pause. But a good pass in Madrid didn't beat Arsenal. Because like they'll take 6-0. PSG will score them. And Madrid sound. Madrid sound. They be serious.
Well, that takes us into. So thank you very much. This is the UEFA Champions League review. The semis. Let us know what you think. Are you disappointed? If you're an Arsenal fan, do you want Arteta to continue? If you are an Inter fan, what do you think of Inzaghi? If you're a Barcelona fan, what really disappointed you in that game? And what about Lamine Yamal's performance? He was on the losing side, but he can actually hold his head high and think that he did this showcase stability to the world on the biggest stage in Europe football. Thank you very much. Remember, subscribe, notification bell, and then drop your comments as well. Share the link to all your friends and enjoy the Mallam Go podcasts. Bye.